Hey everybody, we are now on our final stop of what we're calling our battlefield bits. We are at Rest Haven Cemetery, downtown Franklin. Todd Carter, probably one of the more famous casualties of the Battle of Franklin. Todd died on December 2nd, in the home in which he was raised. His family buried him likely the next day or the following. This is a Carter family plot. Also buried here is Todd's brother Moscow, his wife America, some of their children. In fact, Moscow had a son that he named for his brother, stillborn October 18th, 1868. Also, one other person of note in this section, buried in the McEwen plot. John B. McEwen was the mayor of Franklin during the war. Fielding Sloan, who was a surgeon in an Alabama unit. Sloan was badly wounded as he was working with others to remove wounded soldiers from the battlefield that night. Sloan lingered for months and months, didn't die, I believe, until June, if I'm right, yes, June 19th, 1865. So, just another great spot. Wonderful cemetery, so much of Franklin's early history, pre-war, some post-war. But we got two other really interesting people to stop and tell you about next. Stop 2 at Rest Haven. Right here, a fellow named George W. Cuppet. Born 1833, died 1899. Cuppet's claim to fame, if you will, he was the man who led the exhumation team that moved the Confederate dead from the battlefield near Carter House and along the railroad tracks. He and 2 of his brothers and a 4th man moved all the bodies to Carnton. So last stop here at Rest Haven, we are where the remains of what became known as the unknown soldier are buried. This man's remains were found in the spring of 2009 by a construction worker south of town. The police actually called Carnton, and I will tell you it is the strangest phone call I have ever received. Myself, J.T. Thompson, who had just recently opened the Lotes house, were the first 2 people on site with the police, and it was very clear that they had not just found a body, they had found a very old body. We'll never know who he was, and in fact we're uncertain about which side he fought for. And I've always speculated that based on where he was buried, he may well have been an Indiana cavalryman who was actually killed after the Battle of Nashville, probably December 17th is what I've often speculated. But nonetheless, he died here in Franklin. He was buried by friends, very clearly, buried on his back, hands across his chest, facing east. And we're filming this the day after Easter, so he was buried to await the resurrection. And so his story is one that's always been very near and dear to my heart, and here he is today, buried with so many others who made history right here in Franklin. All right, Battlefield Bits postscript. We couldn't be down here and not come to the Old City Cemetery. Fountain Branch Carter, someone we talk about every day. His wife, Mary, known as Polly. Their son, James, who died before the war. A daughter, Sarah. Son-in-law, Frank Baltischweiler. And another daughter, Mary, who married a man named Daniel McPhail. And I mentioned the unknown soldier being buried facing east. Look at this. Fountain Branch and Polly. This is what's known as a foot marker. I'm sorry, a head marker, foot marker, and so on. And what this means is the body is laid head to feet, facing east for the resurrection. Easter. If you have time, come and see it. Rest Haven's a really cool cemetery, lots of Franklin history, but this is the earliest history. And here are the Carters. Really Carters all over. Here, Rest Haven, Moscow is at Mount Hope. So come to town, come to the battlefield, but come see these spots too. They're all important. Thanks.